I'm Rachel.
And I'm Joe.
And we are two crazy campers.
And after losing a combined weight of more than 200 pounds,
we realized we had so much more energy for activities.
Come along with us as we explore the great outdoors.
And join us on a brand new adventure.
So we just finished seeing episode 2, which was day 2 for RV Unplugged season 2.
Whew.
And it's the second week of the release. A lot of 2s in there.
I was thinking that May 29th, the first episode, we have just seen that like since we were filming RV Unplugged season 2.
Yeah.
So May 29th was in its own little box of just excitement that the show was even happening. Episode 2 was a little different for me. What did you think as you were watching? We're settled into this show now.
So it's funny because I do all of our video editing. And so I'm actually experiencing it even before the show. Now, just a reminder, we have no idea of what the episodes look like.
Right.
They're not letting us see the episodes. They're not giving us a clue of what they've shown, what they aren't showing, what the cliffhanger for the next week is going to be. We don't know any of that.
Which is why we wait until Thursday to release a video.
Yeah, because like we may have to edit something because we don't want to reveal something that wasn't revealed yet.
Right.
But I actually on Tuesday and Wednesday morning edited the behind the scenes footage for day 2 because I'm behind the 8 ball in that I probably should have edited these months ago and then just been ready to go with our beginning and our end.
Locked and loaded.
But as I'm doing that, it's like this rush of emotion coming back to me. Oh, I forgot how I felt. Oh my gosh. And it brings some worry to me because I'm seeing that before I see the new episode of, oh, what if that makes it in there?
Yeah.
You know? And I know that we did not do anything that, like, we didn't lie. We didn't do anything that I think would paint us in a bad light other than being super embarrassed, like giving away the token.
Or riding across the lake on your back.
Yeah.
Let's take a look at it.
So it is day 2. It's
7 a.m.
cold.
It's very cold.
And we got up and we did our prayer. We did our scripture reading. And I'm going to work on a video. We're trying to get up a video for what we did to prepare. I'd like to get that up before we get voted off.
Right. that would be important.
But the sun is just coming up. So I actually turned on my solar panels and Rachel's going to go for a walk and sneakily see if she can find some tokens and stuff. And so...
And not give it to another contestant.
And not give it to another contestant.
That's the goal.
So now what you're going to do is, again, we're looking for anything that looks out of the ordinary.
So basically just bring myself back to the camper.
Yeah.
Okay, it is day 2, and we had a morning challenge, and now we have like a team challenge, and it's a water challenge, and I have no idea what to expect, but it's always
There's a boat there.
There's a boat and paramedics. So those two things together, I don't know what we're in store for.
Maybe you have to water ski.
I do not know.
If you have to dive, you can do that.
I think that the important point is I am here for my team. Whatever the team needs, I'm ready. Let's do it.
What about alligators?
Let's do it. I'll wrestle it.
Do we have alligators? Do you think there's alligators in this lake?
There's an alligator in every body of water in Florida. Every single one.
So we just found out that the water challenge is wakeboarding. And so everybody who didn't do the driving challenge this morning has to get up on a wakeboard. And you get 2 points if you can just get up, and then 1 point if you can complete a U-turn. So do a full turn, and then points if you go over a weight. So last year we were at Lake Mead, and Rachel got up, and she did get up. So you've got this. You've had practice thanks to our friends Chris and Steve.
We're not going to be afraid. I'm going to get on the wakeboard. Y'all know my history with that. So I'm just going to do my best and holding on.
So Rachel is going next. It looks like they're setting her up. And as a team, we decided Blue got to go first because we won yesterday, so we can decide Blue goes first. And so now it's her turn, and our strategy was we want to go last so we know how many points we need to win. And evidently one of their members forfeited. So that means it's 5 players versus 4 players.
Our team kicked butt today because we never gave up.
What were you thinking? Just like,
I'm going to drown if I have to, but I'm not letting go of this rope. And they literally cut the boat, but I was still holding
we
on.
were trying to yell at you, let go, you're wasting time. And I'm like, she's not going to let go.
I'm not gonna
She's
let
going to
go.
keep trying to stand until they cut the engine.
It's the jammy cam. We're in my pajamas. We're jammies.
What a day.
Jammy camming. I am going to sleep easier tonight.
Let's talk about our day.
Yes.
So we woke up this morning
Feeling fine.
feeling good, coming off of
A win.
yesterday. And margaritas. We didn't have a margarita, but like the whole idea of just having this challenge that we could win
As a group for the first
as a
time.
group and just have that cohesiveness was a really good thing. Felt really good, and then they decide that, okay, today we're going to have an individual and a group challenge. And we didn't know what it was, but when we were like, okay, backup challenge, that's got to be me, because you can
can't-
barely back up your car.
I cannot parallel park a Volkswagen Jetta very easily. But I was worried. I got to be honest. I was worried that you were going to be too cocky. Because I know you've been backing up trailers since, dinosaurs were still roaming the earth. But I knew that this is RV Unplugged.
Right.
And they're going to throw some sort of wrench at you.
I quickly looked at it. As soon as I saw 4 tires on the trolley, I was like, this is not going to be easy. But I wasn't until the first person went that I realized, oh my gosh, these tires move.
Ruh-roh.
Now I figured out very quickly, it is impossible to back that up and correct. The only way to do is bring it straight. Now I'm going to say, I guess I misunderstood it, because they talked about the first thing they're going to look at with winning was getting closest to the line. And then if you hit the cone and that kind of stuff, then they were going to go side to side. So my strategy was go last, because then I know what I have to do. And so we had, the Doves went, and they were kind of way off. And then, then we had a couple people hit the cones. And then I was looking at, with Leslie, I'm like, okay, all I have to do is get under 105 inches.
A little closer.
And so that was my strategy, is get that. But I guess that you actually had to, that was first, but then also from there within the lines. And so
the Doves won.
The Doves would have won. But I also thought that it was
1 for red,
1 for red, 1 for blue. I don't know how. I think a lot of people thought that it was 1 for red, 1 for blue.
A winner of
somewhere we all missed that there was one winner between both teams.
Right.
Because I couldn't understand, why did blue keep bragging?
Yeah.
Right? Did you know, were you why are they bragging? Because they have theirs and we have ours, and
I just didn't think that there was anybody that could ace that challenge.
I'm impressed that they were able to do that.
Seriously.
And so, but that was my strategy, was I just got to beat somebody on my team. That's why I want to go last. But it also...
You still didn't do that.
I have to be honest, I don't know how much I want an individual token, because I feel like an individual token may put a target on our back. So here's how I'm looking at it. So we have an individual token. Let's say we get an individual token. We have to go into the key room. Somewhere they're all going to know that you went into that key room, right? If you would have won that today, everybody knows you went into that key room.
Right. And what does that mean?
What does that mean? So he said there could be 3. There's basically either you're going to get nothing, you're going to get an individual prize, could be maybe immunity, or you're going to get a group prize. So when you come out, you're going to have to say, I got a group prize, I got nothing, or what do you do if you got something that's only for you, that's going to benefit you for immunity? If you tell everybody that you just got immunity, you've just put a giant target on your back, right?
Well, and I'm not going to lie.
And I don't want to lie. So, because that's against our integrity. And so I
just don't
there's no way to
come out of there and not lie. And, you know, because like you can say, okay, well, I could not give the whole truth. No,
That's a lie.
well, no, not saying anything is to me a lie. If they don't know I'm going in there, I don't feel I'm lying, not telling you that I got my own immunity. But if you know I went in there, I've got to either lie and say I didn't get immunity if I did, or I've got to tell you that we didn't win, which we didn't win anything, then I'm fine. I can tell you that.
Yeah.
But the problem is, if it's anything other than a group, some people are, if you come out and say, I didn't get anything, and you're not lying,
Mm-hmm.
there are going to people, they're lying.
Yeah, they won't believe it.
They're not going to believe you. So the only way to me, that the only benefit for us to get an individual token, seriously, would be able to go in there and nobody know you went in there. Or go in there and come out with a group reward. Because then everybody in your group is going to be, you're telling everybody in your group.
Well,
does that make sense?
It does make sense, and I don't think that from what I've seen so far, they are not allowing you to win something, have a token, and everybody not know about it. Because every time there's been like somebody, you know, won the challenge, or even when, like I would not have known yesterday that the thing I was handing to Jess was like a special thing.
I don't think Jess knew that because you gave it to Jess.
Right.
And then Jess quickly realized Rachel shouldn't have given this to me. And I think that the problem is she didn't know they were going to tell everybody that you just screwed up.
Exactly.
So she thought she was going to get away with it, and she didn't. And I think she was like, well, what do you want me to do? Tell you screwed up, Rachel?
Right. Or hand it back.
And I don't want a situation like on season 1. I don't feel that way.
Well, and it was, and that was awkward for both of us, to be honest, because
is there a target on our back now? Because she thinks she's got a target. Like, I'm not looking, vote Jess off because she did that. I don't feel that way. But does she think that we're thinking that?
Right. That is a concern. Yeah. That it's like, if we do have to vote, is she going to vote us off?
Because she thinks we have a vendetta.
Which we don't, but I can't. I mean, you can explain it to somebody and say like, okay, we're cool, we're good, everything is great. But like, will they believe it? We are new friends. This is not like you're talking to somebody that you've known for 20 years and they know when you're like, yeah, we're good.
So if we found an individual token.
Kick it across the room.
No. I still want you to do, so here was our strategy. Rachel woke up early this morning and she went looking for tokens. You did find something.
I found a $20 bill.
I wonder which crew member that belongs to.
If there is a crew member that's missing a $20 bill, if you have the serial number on that bill, no, I'm just kidding. Let me know and I will return it to you. But yeah, I was like, oh, cool, there's $20. But I did not find
You didn't find
a token.
And I think tomorrow, because now that we know today was an individual or this way where everybody knew, maybe tomorrow there's going to be a hidden one. So I think you should go for another walk tomorrow. The thing is again, it's going to come down to like it. I want to go in there and hope and pray that we actually pull out a group reward, because then I feel like we can be a benefit to our group, and maybe that'll help people not vote us off.
Well, let's talk about the group reward, because for today the challenge was if we had 2 challenges. The first one, whoever participated in the first one, which was you, couldn't participate in the second one. So we had to go not water skiing, but it was like a wakeboarding. And man, it's so funny.
You did so good. I was so proud of you, baby.
This was not something, believe it or not, even growing up in South Florida, I did not grow up doing that.
You tried it when we were camping at Lake Mead.
Like half a second, and it didn't fare.
But it was different kind too, because the wakeboarding you did was you're not in boots, you're just on a board with bare feet, and our friend Steve has said that's actually easier than the boots.
Right, and it was a challenge. So I was able to like hold on, that's not a problem. I was able to get my legs up, but I just couldn't get the front end of me out of the water.
So we're all on the side cheering. What were you thinking? Because we're yelling, let go, Rachel, you're wasting time. Let go, let go. Did you think you were going to somehow be able to pull yourself up?
I thought given enough time, I could.
You were not letting go.
And I just was like, I'm going to die holding on to this thing. I thought they're going to put me in the coffin, like in this position. And I could tell you, like, my hands are feeling it right now. But my only strategy was persevere, hold on. And I wanted my teammates to see that even though this was clearly not something I was good at, that I had tenacity, that I had perseverance, and that in a group challenge, I'm always going to give it my all, because at the end of the day, I think that is my biggest strategy, is I want my team to see that I'm going to give it my all, and I'm going to give it the whole 5 minutes. So if they give me 5 minutes, you know, we had 30 seconds left the last time that they tried to you know, the boat tried to get me to go. I wanted the full 30 seconds. I'm going to run that clock out, because
I was proud of you.
That's very important to me.
I mean, you did get a point for effort, and you did amazing. And it was a hard show. I mean, listen, only Mary on our team got up.
She was amazing.
She did amazing.
But you know what? The spirit of the challenge was trying something new, doing something new.
And you guys did.
And that's something.
Nobody in our team had ever done that before.
That is something that's very important to us in our life outside of RV Unplugged. Encouraging other people to try something new, whether it is just in their way of eating or once they've gotten healthy, to try new things, to explore making friends with people, to try traveling. Like, that is a very big thing for me. So even though I knew that chances were we were not going to win the challenge points wise, I wanted every single person on our team to really enjoy themselves, because at the heart of it, whether we go home or not, you know, like, I thought somebody may be going home. Let's make the one challenge that they're a part of, this trying something new, a really fun experience where we are enjoying something we've never done before.
Okay, so since you brought it up, like the elephant in the room, let's talk about going home. Because by the time we got to Mary, I was like, listen, there's pretty much no way we're making up. At that point, it was, before Mary, it was 15-1.
Right.
The chance of Mary and Dustin getting 14 points is, in my mind, was slim to none with none on the bus. I mean, and then Mary got 3 points, and I'm like, okay, I just don't see Dustin getting, 11 points, 10 points.
It's his first time doing it.
He's never done it. And, so I started immediately going, this has got to be an elimination. Like, we didn't have an elimination last night, and we were talking to Stacy, and Stacy's like, there's only so many filming days. Like, this has got to be an elimination. And so I started going through my mind, like, who are we going to send home?
Well, and honest to
And we
goodness,
came back here, and I started talking to you, like, who are we going to send home?
because we had not thought of it.
Because I'm not doing straws.
I'm not putting my name.
We made that decision.
No.
Like, we watched it last year going, this is the silliest thing ever. The only thing I've ever seen sillier than drawing straws was season 1 of Survivor, when you had the doctor literally
Alphabetical order
voting people off by the alphabet of their name. But I was like, I understand. I love the RV community, and I understood the whole thing, but it's still, in the end, a game. And right now our feeling is, yes, you have team and Joe and Rachel, and right now I want to put our team first, but we also have to think about us. But we made the decision coming in as we are not drawing straws, and under absolutely no circumstances are we writing our own name down.
No. So you got to pick somebody. But honestly, after the win, and we were so concentrated on being excited that we're on a team, so happy about that, and then enjoying getting to know one another, it feels like the last 24 to 36 hours has been like a summer of summer camp together.
Yeah. People, I've said this in the past, because I don't watch them as much now as I used to, because we don't have like cable television in our house anymore. So I'm pretty much a YouTube person, and then movies. but I used to watch like Amazing Race and Big Brother and Survivor. And when people would get upset about voting someone off, I would sit around and going like,
Right.
how can you get that close to somebody that quickly? You get that close. I mean, we've been together for like at this point, 36 hours? And
You feel like you're friends.
you're close friends 36 hours in, especially with our team. Like we literally 14 hours a day for the last 2 days of just sitting around, and you may get 15 minutes to go back to the RV to go to the bathroom and grab something to eat, but some of it is just sitting around like, okay, the one team's doing their challenge. You guys, you need to spend the next 2 hours sitting around here on hold.
Well, and I think that, you come back and you say to yourself, okay, we've got to decide who is the weakest link. But you can't just put it to Braun. You can't just think about Braun, because the strongest person on our team was the oldest person in this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Mary.
And I will say, we came in going, okay, we really want to keep the team strong. Like, because if we just vote off, like, okay, you would say to yourself, you need to vote off your competition. Okay, so if I go, listen, I'm not the strongest person, maybe the person when it came down to 2 that would probably beat me, maybe that's Leslie and Dustin. I'm just throwing 2 names out there.
Right.
But okay, so let's say I think they're going to beat me. Should I vote them off now? But what if they're some of the strongest people on our team? If I vote them off now, I never get that opportunity to beat them head to head.
Well,
I'd rather get our team together. When you're merged together, then we worry about it.
but this,
Because otherwise, they're just going to pick us off. If we go in and they've got all 5 teams and we've got 2 teams,
Yeah.
they're just going to pick us off.
and that's the thing. You don't know what strength is because you don't know what the challenge is.
You don't know what the challenge is.
So you don't know what is the strongest thing. And so let's say tomorrow's challenge is putting a 5,000 piece puzzle together. We don't know. It's connected to like RVing. Maybe it's like, hey, and this is what we do. So who's the best puzzle putter together? It's not going to be a matter of who can park a rig, empty a black tank the easiest, be doing some sort of a physical challenge. So it's really hard to think in a game wise. If you're on something like Survivor, where day after day you're just trying to forage for food and make fire and build, then it's like you start to have this thought of brawn and brute strength being the thing that you chase after in a teammate.
Because you don't know. Because if you had to judge us by today, I'd probably vote us out.
Right.
Or at least I'd vote me out. Because if it would have been reversed, we didn't know what they were, and it worked out for us. Because I will say this, had I had to do the wakeboarding, I probably would have had to forfeit. Because I don't want to break my ankle. I mean, I have pins in my ankle. It's a 30-year-old injury. I'm on the verge of needing to have fusion or an ankle replacement. Like, if I hurt that ankle, like, I'm done. It means no more officiating. I mean, I can't afford to do that. And I wanted to go water skiing last year just to see if I could do it. And Rachel's like,
Please don't
you
do
are
that.
absolutely not going to try water skiing. I'm like, come on, I got it. And so, would you vote me out because of that? Because I can't risk that injury. So, but what if tomorrow it's, hey, how to build a 3D printer. Well, I've done that, but we don't know. If it's run a marathon, I probably can't do that. But if it's assemble something, I can do that. I have strengths and I have weaknesses, and you have strengths and weaknesses, and it's all going to come down to what the challenge. And a couple of teams that I've talked to, I've said, like, I want to keep the team strong. And unless there's something going on behind our back, I'm not seeing like an alliance thing.
I haven't
Like,
either.
I've been trying to feel out, like, who are you looking to vote for without saying, do you want to be in an alliance? Because I don't know if I even want to do that, but I also don't want to be kind of blindsided. So it's if I get wind at, like, okay, Dustin and Leslie are going to vote someone, I'm like, I would probably vote that same person if I sort of agree with them, just to make sure that, like, it's not a 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1.
Right.
Maybe it's 2 to 1 to 1 to 1. I don't know. But I haven't gotten the wind of an alliance unless everybody's looking to get rid of us.
Right.
Which could be
It could
the case.
It could
you know?
be. We've probably been camping the least amount, I want to say, of everybody.
Right.
As far as like owning a trailer. So I don't know, like,
Right.
is that a factor?
Because you can say like, well, okay, maybe we should vote out the doves, but they're going to have strengths that I don't have. It just depends on what the challenge is. And if we knew all the challenges were going to be physical, it would make it really easy.
Yeah.
Vote
Rachel.
myself out.
Yeah. Vote out Rachel. You know, the other part is you're going to be spending a lot of time with these people. So you also have to take into account personality. Who do you want to hang out with the most? Like, who do you want to spend time with? You know, that is an element of it. It's not just, you know, who do you think is going to win the challenges, but we are spending 14 hours a day with people. So, you know, you don't want those conversations to end either because you just enjoy hanging out with people, right? I mean, that's an element of it as well. If you think about, you know, I would, even though we have great campgrounds in our backyard, some of my friends that I just love spending time with, I'd be willing to go across the country in order to hang out with them.
I even look on the other teams. So, I mean, we have 10 teams here. So there's 9 teams for us to win that have to get eliminated. There's probably one team where I'm like, that I can think of, and they're not even on our team. They're on the other team. There's one team that like, okay, if I can vote, I'd vote them off.
Right.
And it's just a personality clash, really. So, and no, I'm not going to tell you who it is. But that makes it difficult because I even like everybody for the most part on the other team.
Yeah.
You know, and before we end, I have to give a shout out to both Phil and Stacy. Like, I want to be like them when I grow up.
Oh my gosh. So
like their marriage, I mean, they show that you can be competitive without killing each other and getting divorced. I don't think we are capable of that.
We have to slow down and like do things more patiently because look how far they were able to take a game. I mean, they're leading really even as they compete. Instead of a lot of just like stomping around and like quick, silly mistakes that can be made, they were able to do that tumbling towers game for so long. The sun set.
I want to know
what
the longest one ever is. Because I think they may have beat the record.
I really think so.
And listen, like, Stacy had a huge disadvantage because the tower got taller than her.
Yeah.
And she didn't lose because she knocked over the tower. She lost because...
Cool head,
the tower's taller than her, and she was just trying to move the brick up and touch it with the other hand.
They both showed that if you will just stay calm, be patient... And, like, I loved how they just did the little taps. They were checking every single piece of wood to see, like, vulnerability, something, you know, what's the most pliable, what's the most movable. And I think we need to bring that into tomorrow. Because I think if you just make rash decisions and you don't take time... You know, even the wind didn't blow it over, and I don't know how that didn't happen.
I thought it was going to knock over every time Phil took a step, and
so
it didn't.
the stage was bouncy, the table was small, the wind was a blowing, but because they stayed so calm, both of them, and took like very calculated measures, they were able to stay in their game for a really long time.
Okay, we're on the other side of the episode. What do you think now?
Again, it really brought back a wealth of emotions for me. I was proud of you when you did that, you know, on your back wakeboarding, but it really made me realize even more how much, like, I respect your tenacity to never, ever give up.
Wow. So you would get married to me again?
I would absolutely get married to you
Did you
again.
fall in love with that crazy lady going around on her back on the lake?
I did. I fell in love with her 17 years ago, and I fell in love with her again when she did it. And then I fell in love with her again when I saw the actual end footage. And again, because of time, you don't get to see everything. I mean, the episode can only be so long.
Right.
But I just remember being on the side, praying about it and then also worried. And even if you see me, when you go back, if you would go back and watch it, not just you, but when our team was going, you can see my face getting more and more and more depressed because I'm seeing this bigger hole that I'm like, I love our team, but I don't think we're going to dig out of it. And this was something that we talked about last week, right? So we talked a lot last week about, even though our team was not big in stature, that, you know, we knew that the blue team was the powerhouse when it came to physicality, that we were going to have cohesiveness, that, you know, we would probably be able to shine in other episodes or in other challenges. But this was a day, especially that particular challenge, where, yeah, I mean, their athletic ability
really shined.
Even though they all got up, which was amazing because the water temperature was 50 degrees.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is Aaron did amazing. He's just naturally athletic.
Amazing.
Shelby, like she's never going to quit. She reminds me of you. She's never ever going to quit.
And that's a high compliment. I especially after like knowing her more now. I mean, I figured that when we first met the testers. I was like, that this is a couple who's in it to win it.
I knew that they were a challenge, like right from the beginning.
But she is just very physically strong, and I love her tenacity. And I will say, what was really beautiful on that boat was that, you know, you can't really see from the shore, is that we all cheered for one another, whether it was red or blue. There was a hyper awareness that this was out of everyone's wheelhouse. Like no one was expecting to be successful. And from the moment that Ashanti, you know, jumped into the water, her face, I wish that, you know, you could really see how much of a shock it was when you hit that water.
I remember when we went just tubing down the Provo River in August, and the water temperature was 50, and it was only your butt cheeks sitting in the water, how cold that was. And then, of course, there was a time when we were going down that there was a guy with a fire hose. Do you remember the guy with the fire hose squirting everybody? But there was one point where we had to jump out of the water on the Provo River because they wouldn't let you go under the bridge. You had to jump out of the tube and go up and around. And I remember the shock of that water temperature. And again, that was August. So I can't imagine what it was like to jump into 50-degree temperature water. Yes, it's in Florida, but the outside temperature was in the 50s.
They had paramedics on the side. They had like a heating area, you know, lots of towels, like waiting for us to on the other side of this challenge just in case. But I remember feeling the seriousness of this when I saw Ashanti jump into the water, that just like, this is going to be hard. Like suddenly the physicality of this really shined through. And I've got to say that watching her power through it. I know this wasn't something that she had ever done before. I thought that even in the midst of that shock of that water, she got up, and I was really excited and felt very, I don't know, it was really special that even though we're just meeting all of these other contestants, that
because at this point, we're not even together for 2 full days.
I have the blessing of seeing a woman realize that she is stronger than she ever believed she could be. Like I loved, as she said in the episode, seeing like, this is something that in your 50s you could do. Maybe I didn't think that this was possible, that I could do this. So I got to see her have this amazing moment personally, but I got to be a spectator for that. I felt very blessed to see everybody just kind of show up, whether we stood up or not.
So I don't want to make this too long because we do have like 26 minutes of behind the scenes footage. I do have to bring up the fact that they did begin the episode kind of throwing you under the bus, almost like stirring a little controversy between you and Jess. And that's television.
Yes.
But what was it like to relive that of you gave away the token?
I felt...
Because we didn't see a whole lot of that last week. It was almost like a cliffhanger.
I felt very foolish because, you know, I really wanted to shine, knowing that I don't have the natural athleticism. I wanted to come into this showing that I had some common sense and that I was, you know, a pragmatic person, that I could, maybe be somebody that could, untangle like a challenge that required some mental prowess. And then I did this very foolish thing. And so then now I'm concerned that I will look like a weaker link for this group.
Yeah. Now, I will say that I noticed, like, in the chat when this episode was airing, a lot of people going, Jess should have given it back. Listen, it was a game, and I have to be honest, I don't think I would have given it back.
Well,
I really don't. Listen, in the end, it's you and me, and that's all that matters. And I don't think I would have given it back. Whether it put a target on my back for not giving it back or not, that is the game.
Can I just say, though, that I know that was out of love. That my friends are just like, don't worry, Rachel.
But I just don't want people to, like, don't be upset with Jess. Jess did what she should have done, and what I think even you would have said, oh, she screwed up. Like,
Absolutely. Absolutely. No, there was no animosity. You can see from the behind the scenes footage that we didn't feel like that at all. But I will say that in that moment where people were like, don't worry about it, Rachel, like just kind of cheering me on, that is still something very new to me.
Yeah,
to have friends that cheer for me. And that's a really precious thing. And, as somebody who's her own worst critic, it's very easy for me to slip back into negative thinking about myself. And so when people are like, no, I have another view of this, that was very precious. And I just want to say thank you to everybody who just was cheering for me. I appreciate that.
If we ever get to be on another reality show,
be a little bit wiser.
Maybe we get invited back one day for RV Unplugged, which I would absolutely, would you do it again?
Oh, absolutely.
I would absolutely do it again. Maybe we could apply for Amazing Race in the future.
Yes.
For any games that we're in.
Talk to you first before I give stuff away? Don't
even talk to me. We come first. So God, then us.
I got to tell you, it wasn't a calculated move at all. I wasn't thinking of the team. I was in the moment. And I think that is going to remind me, people have to be a little bit self-aware with anything. We talk about that on our keto channel. Like, you have to know yourself. Everybody's health journey, there is an element of what do you struggle with and try to avoid that thing, right? Don't put yourself in a place of temptation. And for me, I see that I really am somebody that is not great at juggling 10 things at once, especially if I need to have my attention in this moment. And I think that can be very important when it comes to RVing. Don't be trying to do all the things while you're backing up this very expensive trailer, or you're trying to, pack up before you move. We've talked to people who've said that's when you make mistakes in the campground.
Yeah, by the way, if you remember at the very beginning when we did the Back It Up challenge, and that did teach me to not be cocky. And it wasn't that I went into a cocky, if you want to say cocky, it was I'm taking this one, right? But one thing I will say is, if you watch that episode, when you watch the episode and I said our marriage when it comes to backing up is we pull up to the campsite and I say, Rachel, go away.
You know how mean that sounded, right?
But you saw why, right? Because like
confusion.
They're just, we can communicate in so many different levels, but it's just something that like I can do. And at the end, you were like yelling at me. And because the bottom line is you want to challenge your marriage, tandem kayaking and backing up an RV together.
And directing with a microphone or megaphone, rather.
Yeah. And with everybody watching, which is like one of the worst things. Usually if you're not into RVing, when people pull into the campground, lots of people like to pull up the lawn chair, sit, and just have a good laugh.
Right. Because
especially if you recognize like it's a newer RV.
It can be hard.
So last thing I wanted to talk about is where we left off on the behind the scenes footage very quickly, and just talk about the whole Phil and Stacy thing and the lesson that we learned from that, which is you have to be patient. And not just in the game. Yes, you have to be patient in the game, especially in RV Unplugged, where you have no idea.
Right.
And you're going to see things, as this game goes on with all of the different contestants, where the confusion and the question of what is this next thing definitely plays into the way you play the game. But I think that's also something that we took as a lesson moving forward outside of the game. And that's what we were talking about at the end, where you're like, we have to slow down. We have to slow down in everything, in our way of eating, in doing our work, in our relationship between each other, our relationship with our children. We have to slow down and be more mindful of what we're doing.
Well, it was something that I was reminded of when we were taking the tour at Alliance, where they have that poster that's like, do you have time to do it right the first time, or do you have time to do it again? And I think that a lot of times we can be hasty when we're doing something, then you make a mistake that could cost you more than just the slowing down and being patient with us, right? Like sometimes the U-turn in life takes much longer than just taking that moment. Even if people are yelling at you to go faster, it's still your decision to make. And you don't have to be pressured just because people are trying to pressure you. So slowing down and just taking your time. I mean, I am sure that Phil and Stacy felt from all of us, like, how long is this game going to be?
Because again, of the time when it comes to the episode, you really did not experience it. I mean, I want to say that game went on for a good 45 minutes.
Easily.
I mean, you saw in the very
Sun up to
beginning, it
sundown.
started, the sun was up, and when it finished, the sun was down. And so, and then they had, their pizza and stuff, and they did invite. That was one of the great things, is that both teams did share their rewards at the end of the day. But that's going to wrap up week 2. So obviously the episode ended on a cliffhanger.
Oof.
And so that is one of the reasons that the original plan was for these videos to come out Thursday morning. We're going to push them back to Thursday evening, or possibly even Friday mornings, because we may have to edit things out that disclose what happens in that day, which is the case here, where I had to take a couple things out where I'm not a big fan of jump cuts, but when you see them, it's because, we said something that was revealed that has not yet been revealed in the game, and we don't want to ruin it for you guys.
No.
So here's what you need to do. Just make sure you are subscribed to our channel. Make sure you are subscribed to RV Unplugged. Hit the bell notification so that you are notified. Don't forget, so RV Unplugged Season 2 is airing every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Central, which is 8 p.m. Eastern Time. There is a pre-show where they're bringing some of the cast members on ahead of time. That starts a half hour prior, and then there's the post-show where they have cast members. So make sure you do all that. Go join Watch and Win. Yeah. I signed up for Watch and Win. I want
something.
I want the Master Applied Coding. You need to go do that, because I want the Master Applied Coding.
I know you do. I feel that intensity.
I don't know where I want to put it. Do I want to put it on my truck, or do I want to put it on my RV? But I definitely want that, because that's where I've seen Phil and Stacy's RV after they did it. Like, oh my gosh, what an incredible job, and in great protection. And that's a very expensive prize. It's like $7,000. So even if you don't have an RV, you could win the Master Applied Coding and get it done on your car. That's
really
going to
nice.
really protect your car. So go sign up for all that. A lot of people have been asking about Salty. We have a discount link. I'm going to put it down on the bottom of every one of our videos. It is on all of our keto videos.
It's summertime, yo.
But so if you don't know what Salty is a powdered electrolyte. I don't have any. Oh, I do have one here. So lots of different flavors. This is one of them. This is Caramel Vibes, one of Rachel's favorites.
I love it.
You put it in water. They also have a cocoa one. They have Mondo Melon, Endless Strawberry. What other flavors do we have?
Even unflavored.
There's
they have
unflavored,
all
which
kinds
is
of
Tony's
flavors.
favorite one.
I know.
And so you just dump it in water, and it dissolves instantly. 10 times better than Gatorade. If you're doing Gatorade, please do yourself a favor. Switch out to Salty.
No sugar.
It's going to be cheaper for you anyway. It's a lot more portable, because now all you need is a bottle of water or a glass of water. And this is going to have your sodium, your potassium, and your magnesium in it in the right proportions. I mean, Gatorade's loaded with sugar, and guess what? Sugar actually dehydrates you. So it's really nothing more than a sugary drink for you to drink anyway. And even the unsweetened, the sugar-free versions don't give you much than a little bit of sodium. So check out Salty. Use the discount link down below. Anytime you use that link, you don't need a code. Just click on that link. You're going to get 10% off. We really appreciate Salty for supporting Two Crazy Campers. We appreciate them for supporting Two Crazy Ketos. And we certainly appreciate them for supporting RV Unplugged. Now, if you like seeing videos like this, please do us a favor. Hit that like button down below. It really does help build the channel. More importantly, it lets us know what kind of videos you guys are looking to see.
And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and also the bell button. And that way, every single time we upload a new video, you'll be alerted to it.
Till next time,
Happy camping.